I've just been going to like writing center. I've been going to the tutoring center for like my math help and all that. I've been going to like office hours, and it totally make a big difference. I think like one problem is that students are not aware of how helpful these resources are, and professors do not enhance the importance of how important they are. I think that's one of like the problems. I mean, like you go to college, you're expected to be independent, right? That's what everyone said, like, oh, I'm free, something like that. So, and then, but not all students, they might feel lost. Like when I came to college, I was lost. I wish professors told me like, these writing centers are really helpful, tutoring center are really helpful, come to office hours, I really encourage you to come to office hours. I wish professors were more encouraging to students like that. Like they don't have to care about us, because we're students, we're supposed to look for help, right? But showing that they do not only teach, but they also help us, assist us to achieve our goals as students, it's also helpful. Not to just like let us swim around, you know? At least like guide us through the whole process. I talked too much, I'm sorry.
No, thank you. And could we hear from you too about, Chu had mentioned maybe there were cultural differences. Did you find that when you came in terms of your approach to writing and also feeling afraid of approaching faculty? Or what do you wish faculty knew? Go back to that original question.
I think just coming into Western, and then I was pretty well prepared and advised at first. So I was put into the bridge program, and I got Eng 100 before Eng 101. So the steps of writing suddenly was broken down to me really clearly, and I had the chance to meet Professor Donna Kwali, who I think she has such a great way she was really aware of the diversity of background of students, but she didn't put that as the boundary for expectations to the students, but she didn't put any expectations on me at all. She was just guiding me alongside, and she pointed out a way that second language writer like me writes. They put in imageries and kind of translating imageries into writing English, and sometimes without an awareness of a background, like a natural, a native reader wouldn't understand, or would be really disappointed, or like it doesn't cope well with their system. So I think I wish faculties would be aware of that, translating of either imagery, structures, so that, and recognize it as a writing accent, and just like accept that as natural, and look into the big picture of what the student is bringing to the table, rather than like focusing into what, that doesn't make sense at all. I'm just gonna tune it out. So yeah.
In the same way that people speak with an accent, they can write with an accent.
And I like what you said also about looking at the opportunities of what your backgrounds bring to the table that might not be expressed by a native speaker. So I think that's what you were saying, that there's some opportunity here to look at the extra value added that you guys bring to the writing. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you. I think they bring up so many good points. Like, I want to be a little bit more specific. For structure, I'm so glad I went to intensive English program for 2 quarters and worked with, Mary was my teacher and my writing teacher, and she taught me how to structure the whole essay. By that time, I don't understand why you make your statement at the beginning of your essay and then you have to stress it at the end of your essay. For me, it's like repeating everything again, but with a little bit different words. Now I do understand a little, because professors, they have so many papers to read. Sometimes they might scan the middle part and they might read like carefully with the first and the final paragraph. So I sort of understand that. And what else I want to say? Oh, some like references, like some words that we really like translated from our language to English, and nobody will get. I mean, American professors, they don't understand why you're making this thing. It's like sometimes it's really confusing, but if they can be more, if they can sort of understand and maybe ask the student about what you really want to explain, and then it will make more sense of the whole essay, of the whole writing. Thank you.
You know, you guys have talked a bit, pretty focused on writing, which is what this is about. But I know individually that you've talked a little bit about the idea of participating in class discussions, and that's a little bit challenging. Could you say more about that? And maybe we could start with Camille, because, hi, Camille.
Can I add something about the first question?
Sure.
Yes.
Oh, I think like Luisa said this really shortly about when she made her speech. I just wanted to really emphasize that I also didn't have writing in my education before I came to America. I never written in school. Like we never compose anything, and we don't have to express ourselves. So like when we come here, we are as like our own opinions is really like I was really, so that was really hard. So I wish like they know how different it is, that we just do not have any chance that we were asked to write. But here, the people who grew up in America or English like speaking countries, or maybe that's not correct. But like over here, they grow up expressing, and it's like I don't want to say everyone is like that, but it's they know what to do, like they know how to swim in the water. So I wish they knew like this. Like about the repeating part or in essay writing here, I also agree it's really repetitive. I don't understand like why I have to mention it again, because I'm gonna say it soon, and it makes sense in my head even after I've been here for like 6 years now. So that's all. Yeah.
Thank you. Camille? We were talking about what do you wish that your professors knew about you as a multilingual student and a writer? Okay, we'll give you a chance to think and then we'll come back.
So we now go to the discussion about.
Well, yeah, I was thinking in terms of faculty knew about you, in terms of the classroom discussion angle of things too. I know that Lisa too had said something about that, but maybe you all have some thoughts, or maybe not, in which case we'll move on.
I can add something. I mean, like just I said about not expressing ourselves in writing. When I grew up in South Korea. Came here when I was 19. and we are not never, but like we are not supposed to speak a lot. Like the teacher will write down a lot of things on the board, like full of the blackboard, like that we have to like copy down what she or he wrote down, and we rarely ask questions. So if we don't understand, it's kind of our fault that we didn't understand. So if we do that for like more than 10 years and we come here and suppose we are asked to speak in front of class, I don't know, it's kind of difficult.
What about the idea of sharing your opinions? Is that something that you felt comfortable with before you came here, sharing your ideas?
Like you mean ideas like in a group of people or like classroom?
In any situation?
I guess it depends. Like, if it's in a classroom, this is really weird. Okay, so the first day of class, like the first week, if I don't raise my hand or talk or say something, I don't talk for the rest of the quarter. Yeah. If the first week I talk, it means I feel comfortable, so I'll keep talking. But if I don't talk, I just shut down for the whole quarter.
You know,
that's
so
true.
That is
so true.
It's really like when I usually take summer classes, and my classmate will tell me like, why are you so different like in the summer compared to like fall quarter, spring quarter, winter quarter? It's just because like I'm more comfortable in a smaller classroom, and because I went when I came to the States, I went to a boarding school, and the whole school only had 70 people. And so our classroom basically had like 6 to 10 people. So just like the learning environment was really different. That's how I spent the 5 years of my high school, middle school life, like with 10 people. So when I came here, it's like 100 people, so it's crazy. So it's just like the feeling comfortable, and then yeah, how comfortable I am to speak up. Also has to do with like I'm really slow, so I get things like 10 seconds later. Like that's why like by the time I have a question, let's say I feel comfortable and I raise my hand, but let's say I don't raise my hand, but because the teacher moved on, I feel bad raising my hand. Oh, can you go back to that question or the answer you said? Can you repeat that? So I feel bad asking or like just slowing down the class. So like you said, like you will feel like, oh, it's teachers might think it's your fault that you're not asking questions, that you're not speaking up. Like it's your fault. You're supposed to deal with it, kind of thing. But I mean, it could be right, but I think it's really important that also students have a plan B. If you don't raise your hand in class, you don't talk in class, then you better have a backup plan to how to learn. I think it's...
So I have a question for you, because you all nodded about this, that if you don't speak right away, you don't speak in that class period. Like something makes you comfortable. What is it?
I personally like, I'm more vocal in the class now that I don't think I have a problem speaking in the class. But if I have like scale of a person, like whether I feel comfortable or not, if I know that person has a background or like show a sign that this person knows like somebody can be different, or like some other country, like this person likes going abroad, things like that. If I see that in the professor, then I feel more comfortable. Yeah.
How about you two?
My experience of voicing in class, and especially when it comes to opinion, has been really rough. Even now, I always tend to, like, if I have to gather information and then process it, and everyone is already discussing, and I'm like, wait, yeah, and then whenever I process and I'm like, wait, maybe it's already moving on, then I'll just be like, yeah, I'll process that later by myself. And yeah, kind of like you said, like I almost always have a backup plan for every class because I don't participate verbally, just like very silently like that. And let's see, being critical, like critical thinking on the spot is pretty like takes much more time for us, I guess. Like at first I would be like, I don't want to make it an excuse for myself to be like, oh, never mind, I'll just not catch chances because I'm just that way. But now I feel like I need to do something about it. And so I try to write down things that I catch as fast as possible, and then like as soon as I think that I gather a little, then I'll just like, yes,